Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is the TBI to carb swap using earlier cast iron intake manifold part 3. And as you can see, I've got the old cast iron on there. She's not torqued or anything, but she's just sitting there with some silicone, which I did go in excess a little bit, but brand new intake manifold gaskets, which I decided to go with the Fel Pro. Those ones I showed you guys in the first video. Didn't like the design of those gaskets because the metal jacket was not cut out in those, and in these new Fel Pros, the metal jacket was cut out. So you're definitely gonna want to match what's on your intake when you go to put it on. Um, but I'll give a list of everything I used to do this once said and done. And we'll just go from there. But anyways, like I say, she's bolted on even the 4 center bolts. As you can see, one, two, 3, and 4. Well, the one bolt on this other side is bigger than the other because previously when I changed the gaskets on this thing, it got stripped out, so I had to go with a bigger bolt. But bolt, it's the only bolt I have is that bolt that came off the car, and it's a short bolt. You will need 4 longer bolts to go in the center as well when you mill this thing out. So eventually I'm going to get a longer bolt that I could put a washer on, but for now I'll put some silicone in it for testing purposes and see what happens when she fires. See if it leaks, and if it doesn't, then well, we'll just probably just leave it like it is. Anyways, so like I say, everything's just setting up nice and pretty and glued on, and well, not technically glued, but RTV'd on there. As you can see, it goes all the way around that RTV. I say I didn't go light on it. I went pretty heavy on it. Since these are different heads, and you have to do some mill work, it's best just to put use more than what you normally would to put this thing together. That way you can assure that there will be no leaks. So eventually, I'm gonna have to change these valve covers out too in the future. I don't like these valve covers that are on this engine, so I'm gonna go back with the factory center bolt black valve covers that originally were made for these engines or these heads. So, but I do have a set of World SR heads on this thing, and the I-52s. I do have a decent cam in this car. It's a decent streetable cam. It's a 260H. So I mean, even with the TBI setup, it did have some power, and but I just feel that the TBI setup is just not enough to keep up with what the cam in this engine, because you got to figure it. The TBI system is only rated for a stock motor. So to go to tune one of those, it's going to cost you some money because you got to now chip it. You got to run all kinds of diagnostics and tests, and send company in some info about everything. And so I just decided to go with a carburetor. So what's nice with the quad jet carburetor, they go up to 750 to 800 CFM, which doesn't mean that that's where it's at. The thing that's nice about the Quadrajet is it will only use what is needed. So, for instance, I put it on this motor, and it decides it wants 650. That's what the carburetor will put out, and it will still run nicely with a Quadrajet on it. So I know a lot of you guys don't like these like quadrijet carburetors, but um, there's a reason why Chevrolet um, put them on all their vehicles instead of an Auto Edelbrock or Holly or what have you. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, an Edelbrock's not rebuildable," and blah blah blah. Well, it depends on how you rebuild it. You know, take your time, know what you're doing, make sure you get everything right, correct, back in its order, and you can rebuild a quadrijet carburetor. Um, let's see. So, anyways, I'm deciding to go with this cast iron intake. Like I said before, it is 057 intake. Uh, as you can see with the casting numbers here, let's see if I can get you in there. That's the casting numbers on my intake. Um, Research says that these intakes, well, they're used on Camaros, Novas, Chevelles, whatever had a small block Chevy. Yeah, this is usually the intake that they would go for. And circle track guys, they love these intakes. Like I showed in earlier videos, the runners to me are a lot bigger than an Edelbrock. Um, let's see. I know this thing is heavier, however, but it is a performance intake. There's no EGR or anything like that on this. In which that doesn't make a performance intake, but however, I just like I said, from the research I've done, this is the best intake to use. So this is what we're going for. This is what I found, and this is what I got. So I'm pretty sure doing a carb swap on this car will perk her up. Yeah, I should pick her up a little bit. I mean, I'm not expecting much. Um, I just want the car to run clean, run better than what it did with the TBI setup. Now, the problem that I had with this TBI setup in the first place was the fact that uh, it did run rich. So um, basically, you go to start the car up, and you've got exhaust fumes coming out the exhaust. And it didn't matter what I did to this thing, I threw the kitchen sink at this thing, everything, and the kitchen sink at this thing. So there you go.